The U.S. has dramatically increased its military presence near Venezuela, probably the largest buildup in decades. We're talking warships, Marines, aircrafts, and thousands of troops. All part of what the U.S. calls counter-narcotics and regional security operations. Just this past Wednesday, U.S. agencies including the FBI, Homeland Security Investigations, and the Coast Guard boarded a tanker in international waters off Venezuela. Acting on a court warrant, they seized the ship, which was part of a shadow fleet that had already been sanctioned in 2022. The tanker had been transporting oil from Venezuela and Iran to fund groups the U.S. labels terrorist organizations. At the time, it was carrying up to 1.8 million barrels of Venezuelan crude. President Trump called it the largest tanker seizure in history. Venezuela, unsurprisingly, condemned it as an act of piracy and promised retaliation. But this move is part of a broader, long-standing effort by the U.S. to pressure Nicolas Maduro's government, tied to election irregularities, human rights abuses, and accusation of narco-terrorism. And Maduro, for his part, has repeatedly accused the U.S. of trying to push him out of power. Now, to understand why things have escalated this far, it helps to look at the bigger picture. So back in 1998, Hugo Chavez came to power promising to fight corruption, reduce inequality, and challenge Venezuela's political elite. His Bolivarian revolution expanded presidential powers and social rights. Using the country's booming oil revenues, Chavez launched social programs that reduced poverty and illiteracy. It also nationalized key industries, including oil, steel, and electricity. But over time, oil production and efficiency began to decline. After surviving a brief 2002 coup attempt, Chavez strengthened ties with Cuba, Russia, China, and Iran, frequently accusing the U.S. of imperialism. By 2008, falling oil prices exposed the economy's vulnerabilities. Government spending outpaced revenue, inflation surged, and shortage began. When Chavez died in 2013, his chosen successor, Nicolas Maduro, inherited an economy in decline. Maduro tightened his grip on power, undermining the National Assembly, creating a parallel constituent assembly, and arresting opposition leaders. In response, the U.S. imposed escalating sanctions targeting officials, the oil sector, and eventually a full oil embargo in 2019. Now, that same year, Washington recognized opposition leader Juan Guaido as interim president, a move that was backed by several Western and Latin American nations. Maduro, meanwhile, defended ties with Russia, China, and Iran to bypass U.S. sanctions. Fast forward to 2025, and tensions have reached a new peak. For part 2, head to our channel, The National Desk.